Kathy here from Kathyskutekreations. Today I am bringing you the Cotton Cuts number 5, which is the small Are You Game. This is not going to take long at all to do, and I want to show you what we got this month. I got a little pen. Let me see if I can hold it up here without dropping it. There's a little pen. There we go. And then the back looks like this, so that you can put it on your blouse, your lapel, wherever you want to put it. Or you can put it on a quilt if you want. And let me go ahead and mention the Sparkle and Shine 2021 Puzzle Mystery. And excuse all my writing all over this, because Megan and I have already worked this sheet apart here, writing different things. Okay. The investigation began Friday the 4th. So if you haven't gone over there, you can go over there now. There's no time to get it. In other words, you can go online immediately and you can choose your colors. If they don't have your colors, because they do run out fast, you can ask to be put on the wait list for when your colors come in. Okay, the clues are going to ship out on February 5th. And I have chosen this, and I'm going to let you know that the card that we have, that we got in the mail, does nothing for the justice of the colors, because you really got to get on their websites to look at them. They almost look totally different, but they are so pretty. So I chose this one here in the corner, Topaz. Hopefully that's not too blurry. And then my granddaughter chose Ruby and Emerald, and I'm buying that for her birthday, but she's going to start it now. Her birthday's not until April next year, but I wanted to get it for her. And that's the ones that we've chose. We're doing the small one. Okay, and you know that here I am. This is me, Team Cranium. Let me make sure it's all in there. There we go. For this mystery. And I still have to put the other one together. I've got all the pieces over here. I just haven't had a chance to do a video, but I want to try to keep from falling behind on too many things. And so it's going to be coming up here shortly. But let's go ahead and get started on this first. To start you off, the block of the month little pattern that we get, or well, I don't call it a pattern, but it's our little sheet, is called Broken Dishes. I think we've had this one before. You remember now, there's a color challenge if you color your card. So when you flip it over, you can see it's just nothing but lines. You can be entered in a contest to win. You just need to put it up on the, right here. Look at the directions. Post it for a chance to win the Chroma Petite Pop. Alrighty. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And I have my colors laid out here. My directions. Back it up so you can see them. This is color B, C, D, E, and F. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to put it together. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our E and our F, and we have 2. And we're going to make 2 of these, and we're going to put them together. If you go over there and you order a Cotton Cuts, be sure and let them know if you're going to go. I don't have a link or anything, but let them know that I sent you over there, because they do like to know who sends people over to the website to order these. I wish I could afford a couple more, really, because I have a really neat idea. I have to save my money, and then I'll produce that idea for you guys. But in the meantime, let me show you my card here. This is my card, and they'll give you a card at the very beginning which represents all your fabric colors so that you can keep them straight. I always put this and my patterns together. Even when I get my new monthly, because this comes out monthly, I go ahead and I put them all in the same drawer so I can just pull it out and work on it, and then I keep all my patterns together. But you can pay 2 different ways. You can either pay month by month. They have small and large sizes, or you can pay at one time. Now, depending on how you pay, you'll get discounts for either shipping and handling, or they'll give you a discount off, but it just depends. You need to go to their website and check it all out. And they'll have 2 a year. One is in the, I believe it's 2, it's spring and fall. And so they're called Puzzle Mysteries. They also have fabric, so check it out. Their website's pretty neat. Okay, kathyskutekreations.com. Here we go. And then you'll always get a paper like this for yourself. Okay, and they give you the name of This one here is called Are You Game? The last one was Name of the Rose. And that's the one I've got to put together that I got all the pieces separate. Okay, let's go ahead and make 2 of these. So I'm just going to put them together. I don't need to iron them or anything. What I like about them is they're already pre-cut. So they should both come out exactly the correct size. Make sure that if you use a scant 1/4 inch, you continue with a scant 1/4 inch. If you use a 1/4 inch, then always continue making all these blocks with a 1/4 inch so that they will all fit when all is said and done and we put it together. All right, let's get started. Now, if you feel like you need to take these and pin them, by all means pin them. Now, we're not starting on the corner per se, but we are close to this corner here, depending on how you sew yours. So you're going to be mindful of the corner down there so that you don't get your fabric sucked into your little oval opening unless you have a circle. If you're worried about it, you can put a piece of typing paper or tissue paper, some kind of paper to keep it from taking it and burying it. Now, I was having an issue with the tail end of my quilt that I just finished making, but the bottom underneath here had a whole bunch of fuzz bunnies, and it also had little bits of thread and all kinds of stuff. So I've already cleaned that out today before I started, because it needed a good clean. So it shouldn't be grabbing my fabric. And I use the 12-inch needle and I sew with a 2.5-inch stitch. And what you want to be mindful of is if you use the paper to do this, then go ahead and decrease the size of your length. And the reason for that is so that your paper will pull out, and when it does not take your stitches along with it. And just go slow and easy at the very beginning, and then it will not pull your fabric. There we go. And then we're going to iron these open. Now that this square is finished, okay, we're going to add our C. Now we have 2 different colors of C. We have the longer rectangles, but we have the shorter ones. We're going to attach the shorter one onto that. And we're ironing, let me flip this over so you can see, we're ironing towards the E, okay? In this case, if you're using light and dark colors to represent this, if you don't remember your thing, but you see this light and dark, I mean, to me, this is the darker of the 2. But make sure that when you put this together, because I'm really bad about this, is that you have your E going at the top and your F at the bottom. Let's go ahead and sew these together. Alrighty, so now normally, this is how you would lay it. But I don't want to come over this right here. So I'm flipping it upside down, laying it on here, starting on this side here that's nice and smooth, just the 2 fabrics, and then going down to the end. I'm not putting a pin on it, but if y'all want to put a pin on it, that's fine. Let me make sure you're close enough here. There we go. And I am, if I didn't say it before, I'm chain stitching both of these because we're going to end up with 2 when we're finished. And then cut it and we'll iron it open. Now you're going to take this last strip of C and you're going to put it on the bottom of what you just sewed. And if the rectangle came out correctly in size, this should fit right across it. Okay, there you go. Now don't put this on incorrectly, and I have pinned this, so I have the, just so that you know, the E is down here at the bottom, and the F is what's covered up with this fabric. Now I went ahead and I pinned it on this side, and if you look, you can tell here where it's got the thickness. So if your machine can't do the thickness, this is what you want to do. And you know, people's machines don't do the thickness because they're either older or they've got issues, so I go off of that to start out with. I don't even go on the bottom where that's at. So I move my positioning of my fabric over here, so I'm about probably about almost an inch away. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start sewing just like as if I had started at the corner. Come on down. I put a pin here to keep that piece in the where the seam is at on the other side from folding over. So that'll be a little bit of a bump to go over. And then this one here goes down to the end, and I go off. And now here is where, if you want to, you can decrease if you're worried about this stitch coming apart before you get a chance to be putting them together, because sometimes they do, just depending on your, I mean, it has to do with your machine, your thread, whatever. Go ahead and knock it down. For example, I do the 2.5. I could knock it down to 1.8 and go ahead and come off. And then what it's done, it's almost like it locked into place because it got smaller. Go ahead and increase your stitch back up. And you can do one or two things. You can either turn this over like this so that it's going to come down over the top of it. And what I do is I back off of my fabric. So when I say back off, I'm going up to the part that already has stitching in it. And I'm going to go ahead and come over the top of my stitches, which locks this into place. And then just go ahead and come on down and off. And then I'll start this one here. I'll go ahead and cut it because I'm going to do the same thing on the next one to show you. So I've put this one underneath there. Put my foot down so that I got my 1/4 inch. Put my needle down and go ahead and start. And it's not on the bump where the fabrics all meet. Keep coming down. Here's the part that's going to have a little bit of a bump because it's got a seam underneath there and it's folded in one direction. If you're prepared for it, then you won't have an issue. And then here's where I would be taking my seam and knocking it down smaller. It's your preference if you want to do that. Go ahead and cut it. Take my stitch, make it bigger. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come off of my fabric like this. I flipped it upside down. I'm going to start where it's already been stitched. And I'm going to come to the end of my fabric. Okay, here we go. Just like that. And you can decrease it again if you want to. It's up to you. Now when you're done, you're going to have two that look like this. And you're going to call them 5A. And I wrote 2 so that if my pieces get separated, I'll know that I should have 2 of those colors. And then I can find it in my stack. But I just keep it all in a box. And let's start with the next fabric. So we have D, and we have 4 of them, and we have 4 B's. The way that it wants us to lay it out is we're going to lay a D, and then a B, and then a B, and a D. So it'll be laid like that. We're going to make 2 of them because we're going to put this one in the middle of these 2. But we'll go ahead and we'll make these to start out with so that they can all be chain stitched. So let's do that first. So we're going to chain stitch these. None of them need pinning unless you feel like you need a pin. I think a clip would actually be too heavy on your fabric. We're going to start at the very end. And for the sake of the beginner, I'm laying them down just like they're telling us to sew them together. That's why the blue is on this side. Let's cut them apart and iron them open. You have 4 of those when you're finished, and you're going to iron them towards D, as in darling fabric. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our D, which is our last square here, and we're going to put it between the 2. So make sure that you put the D at the top. And then we'll take this fabric here. If I can get my hand on it, we'll take it. We're going to put it down here. We're going to sew that together. We're going to sew that together. That's the very next thing we're going to do, is sew these together. All right, now we're going to chain stitch these. I went ahead and I put the smaller 2 pieces on top of the bigger piece. You can do it either way that you want to. Now you can iron these open or you can wait, but let's just go ahead and cut these. We have these two sewn together. I ironed it towards the B, so it went down towards the blue here. And then we want to put this on, so what we're going to be matching is this and this go towards our B block, if that helps you out. Let's go ahead and sew this. All right, let's finish up this block here. Cut it, iron it towards the B, and we'll take a look at them. Alrighty, there's both of those finished, and they are going to be labeled 5, B as in boy, and I have 2 of them. There you go. 2 of each. They look really nice, and it didn't take that long to put them together. Can't wait for month 6. I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget, make a comment if you'd like. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.